What's going on YouTube? It's your guy Darian, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. On this channel we talk about fragrances as well as fashion. So if you are a person that enjoys looking good and smelling great, then I am sure, or at least I hope, you'll enjoy the content on this channel. So please consider clicking on that subscribe button. And also take another quick second, if you don't mind, to hit the bell icon to ensure as best you can that you get notified when I upload new content on the channel. Now guys, I want to say really quickly, if you are not following me on Instagram, I notice of course I have a lot more followers on the YouTube platform than I do Instagram. So if you don't mind, go on over to Instagram and give me a follow. I have all the confidence in the world in my subscribers. I want to get my Instagram, I think I'm at about 6,400 followers. I want to get that up to 10,000 followers. So hopefully, let's say by the within the next 2 weeks, let's say we can get that to 7,500 maybe, or maybe up to 8,000. I would really appreciate it. It is the _bowtie_ fragrance guy. So please go give me a follow on Instagram. I would really appreciate it. I'm able to interact a little bit more on that platform than I am on YouTube. So if you don't mind, guys, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. On today's video, we're going to be talking about 15 fragrances I can't live without. Well, technically, I'm sure I would live if I didn't have them. Hopefully, I would live. I'm sure I would, but you get what I'm trying to say. 15 of my favorite fragrances in my collection. Now, the thing with this list, some of these fragrances are ones that I've had for a while in my collection. And when I've done like 10 fragrances for life and lists like that, some of these fragrances have been included on that list before, but some of these are newer acquisitions to the collection as well. The main thing that we do as YouTube reviewers, or that I do at least, one of the most important things, I'll say that, is just the overall sincere, genuine love for fragrances. So fragrances can be an escape. You know, sometimes when I'm feeling down about different things, sometimes I just go sit in my closet and just kind of filter through some of my fragrances. And these are just sincerely 15 of my favorite fragrances. It's, like I said, some of them have stood the test of time since I've been collecting. A few of them are newer, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about 15 of my favorite fragrances. I'm not going really in depth with notes and things of that nature, but just wanted to kind of discuss 15 of my favorites and share this passion. So if you want to see what 15 of my current favorite fragrances are in my collection, then you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to go ahead and jump into the list. Before I get into this, I want to shout out, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but I have several guys that have tagged me on Instagram here recently and thanked me for the recommendation of using Scent Split. Now, I talk about Scent Split a lot because I do understand that, I talk about some expensive fragrances sometimes on this channel. Now, I do feel like I do a good job of mixing in less expensive fragrances as well, because I do understand we have a wealth of different types of fragrance connoisseurs and collectors out there. Some people love expensive stuff. Some people love the less expensive stuff. But I think that overall, I enjoy all fragrances. So I do try to include a good mix of expensive, niche, less expensive, and designer fragrances and the whole nine on my channel. So again, I do always recommend, when I do a list that does feature a lot of niche fragrances or that are typically more expensive, I always recommend Scent Split. I'm going to leave the link down below to Scent Split to check out these fragrances, because I will tell you most of these fragrances are niche fragrances. So again, if you're interested in trying any of them, I recommend strongly, guys, give Scent Split a try. You get a 5-10 ml decant, and guess what? If you have several fragrances in your collection, 5 or 10 ml will last you a long time. So you don't really have to invest in a full bottle of anything. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the list. So So the first fragrance that I want to discuss today, that's in my top 15 right now, 10 of my favorite fragrances in my collection, is from the House of Byredo, and it's Bal d'Afrique. Bal d'Afrique. Now, I've talked about Bal d'Afrique a lot on the channel. Several lists, it's made several lists before, and it's just one of the fragrances in my collection that I can't get enough of. Just the overall scent profile of this is very alluring to me personally. You know, and this particular list today is very personal. It's not about how others react to fragrances or what most compliment, any of that stuff. It's about my favorite fragrances, and this is one of them. This is very unisex fragrance. Men or women could pull this off equally, I feel. And you know, I just, you know, again, just really love the way that the florals really mix with the warmer, woodier notes as it dries down. African marigold or African orange flower is one of the primary notes in this scent. And there's something about it that comes across a little creamy. Now, I know sometimes the note of violet, when used with certain other notes, can kind of give off a creamy sensation to a fragrance. But I'm not sure if it's coming from the violet or not. But I do know, again, on the dry down, you get a nice combination of cedar wood. I think there is vetiver in this as well. That's one of the main notes on the dry down. And again, so it gives you a good combination of more floral notes, which of course a lot of times are a little bit more, can make a fragrance lean more feminine. But again, those nice woody notes on the dry down, a little bit of amber as well to round it out. Mouth-watering scent. And that's a word that I use a lot of times to describe this one as well. It's so mouth-watering. But one of my favorites right now, definitely in my collection, goes to this one from the House of Byredo. And again, this is called Bal d'Afrique. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, of course, on my channel, this needs no introduction. And this one comes from by Kilian, and it's this. It's Black Phantom. Black Phantom by Kilian. I added this to the collection about 2 years ago, maybe a little over 2 years ago. And ever since that time, this is one of the ones when I talk about some of the fragrances on this list that have stood the test of time. Since acquiring this scent, this has been one of my favorites. I love gourmands. You guys know how much I love that fragrance scent profile. And this is just one of the best gourmands, in my opinion, that I put my nose on in my fragrance journey. It has sugar cane in it, rum, coffee. Oh man, it's just, again, boozy, sweet, creamy, everything that I tend to really gravitate towards in a gourmand scent. And again, one of the things I love about Black Phantom and most of the fragrances from by Kilian is this thing will perform like a monster. I remember the first time I wore it, it was around Thanksgiving of that year, and I had a mock-necked Ralph Lauren, no, it wasn't a mock neck, it was a shawl collar Ralph Lauren sweater. And I sprayed it on my sweater, and I remember 2 weeks later going back to take it to the cleaners, and it still smelled like I had just applied this stuff on that sweater. So you're gonna get your money's worth. Now they sell these without the coffer for about 240 bucks. So check this one out. One of my favorites. This is called Black Phantom. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list comes from the House of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and this is Oud Satin Mousse. Oud Satin Mousse that stood the test of time as well as one of my favorites. I'm gonna try to go a little bit quicker through these fragrances. I don't want this video to be too lengthy, but oud and rose. Really, that's what this is about, oud and rose. And that combination, oud and rose, has become one of my favorites so far. I love fragrances that feature a note of rose, and usually that oud is what gives it that kind of woody, earthy, masculine feel that I love, that gives it a good balance. So you get the nice fresh florals that I really like from rose, and then you get, again, that kind of masculine quality that usually comes in from using oud. And again, it's just a combination that I've grown to really love. So this is one of my favorites. Of course, you guys know by now, from the House of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, this is Oud Satin Mousse. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this one comes from the House of Parfums de Marly, and this is a Latent. This is a Latent. Now, one of the things that is so interesting to me about, my fragrance journey has been with the acquisition of new fragrances. Of course, you can only wear tops, max maybe 2, sometimes 3 fragrances in a day. And you sometimes forget about some fragrances that you may have acquired, like maybe a year or two prior to some of your newer acquisitions. So sometimes fragrances can start to kind of fly under the radar. And it's not that they're not great, but when you have such a wealth of fragrances, you have so many in your collection, again, sometimes you tend to forget about fragrances. And this, for me, is one of those fragrances that as time went on, I kind of forgot about Leighton. And it's because there were so many other great fragrances from this same house that I acquired. Pegasus exclusive, Leighton exclusive, Carlisle, Wajan, which honestly all could have been on this list. But this is still, I think, ultimately my favorite one from Parfums de Marly. A beautiful combination here. That very prominent apple chord that you get in the opening of this is kind of spicy. There's some pepper in here. But you get the cardamom, gives it kind of that sweet spiciness. And I think there's also sandalwood in this, and that's where that creaminess comes from. Beautiful scent, man. And again, I won't talk too much about this one, but check it out if you've never put your nose on it for some reason. Highly recommend this one from Parfums de Marly. It's called Leighton. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, another one that has stood the test of time since I've acquired it, from the house of Tom Ford. You already know what time it is with this one. This is Oud Wood. Oud Wood is oud good. It is. It really, really is. And of course, oud is a note that you will pick up on, but it's so diluted. Nothing close to being in your face, the oud in this fragrance, because it's really about the woods in this. And I think it's so appropriately named, Oud Wood. It's a very, very woody scent. Sweetness, you get a little warmth on the dry downs. You got some amber, some vanilla, a little bit of pepper in this one as well. Just kind of give it a spicy kick. Stuff is gorgeous, man. So check this one out. Again, I gotta kind of move on and fly through this list a little bit quicker, but I love this scent right here. Oud Wood will always be one of my favorites. I think, honestly, if I could only have 5 fragrances, seriously, if I could only have 5, I know for a fact this will be one. So check this one out from the house of Tom Ford. This is Oud Wood. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, I affectionately refer to this scent as my baby. Miss Bowtie, calm down, it's just a fragrance. But I love this scent, and I've loved it ever since I've had it in the collection. And let's go ahead and show it to you, man. This one right here from Creed, it's Original Santal. Original Santal. This fragrance, of course, you guys know the story behind Original Santal. It kind of takes a hit in the fragrance community because of fragrances like Mont Blanc Individual, which came out before Original Santal. But there is a sentimental value to this particular scent for me because this is one of my first niche purchases that I ever made, and I fell in love with the scent. It's everything that I really look for in a versatile signature scent. You can wear this on dates. I mean, again, any place, any occasion, this stuff is going to work because it's sweet. It has a nice sweetness in it that you look for on a nice date night, but it has a nice freshness that makes it very versatile and a fragrance that can be worn year round. You have juniper berry in this, you have cinnamon, sandalwood, tonka bean, vanilla. Again, perfect combination of notes, perfect fragrance from the house of Creed, one I will always have and love and adore. This is called Original Santal. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list of my current 15 favorite fragrances in my collection, 15 I can't live without, will be this one right here from the house of Bond number 9, and this is New York Oud. New York Oud, another one that, for me personally has been one that has, for a long time been one of my favorites. Of course, this is another rose oud combination, but let me tell you 3 notes in this that really make this fragrance stand out. In addition to the rose and the oud, you have plum, saffron, and that signature Bond number 9 musk note. Now, I've talked before about different houses and certain fragrance collections that use certain notes as kind of a signature note. And for the longest time, I was trying to figure out what it was for Bond, because there's a Bond number 9 DNA, and I really think it's the note of musk. If you look at the note breakdowns of a lot of their fragrances, you will find musk somewhere in the note breakdown, and it's really, really prominent in this fragrance. But again, one of my favorites, again, rose and oud, 2 notes that I love. So check this one out from the house of Bond number 9. This is New York Oud. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list comes from the house of Rosia Dove. It needs no introduction. This is Creation E. This is Creation E, and I love everything about this scent. Again, most fragrances from Rosia, you'll find that the note breakdown is super long. And so I won't try to go through notes, but no, it's a boozy fragrance that features a note of cognac. Benzoin, vanilla is really, really rich, and you can tell that it is an expensive fragrance. When you put this on your skin, you feel like royalty, and that's what I love about this scent. Again, it's very, very expensive. Again, so if you can get a sample of it, I highly recommend you try to sample it. I will tell you, I don't think it will be a fragrance for everybody as well, so definitely sample it if you can. But definitely, sincerely, one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. So check this one out from the house of Rosia Dove. This is Creation E. The next fragrance on the list is one of the fragrances that are newer, is a newer acquisition to the collection. And since I've had this, it's been making a lot of headway in my personal favorites, and this one is from Allure. This is Diamant. This is Diamant. Now, I love Jubilation 25 from Allure as well, but this replaced Jubilation 25, not as far as, I still love that fragrance, but this one is very wearable. This is one of the most wearable scents that Allure has ever done, in my opinion. Clean, soapy, floral, fresh. Love these kind of scents as well. It gives me a good balance personally, because as a person that loves gourmand scents and these heavy, sweeter fragrances, I love to have those nice, clean, fresh fragrances to balance that out. And that's exactly what this is. I've talked about it a lot. It has plum in this, plum, vetiver, a little bit of incense, and peony, which is a note that you don't find oftentimes in male fragrances, and that's what makes this such a gorgeous scent. So check it out, man, from the house of Allure. This is Diamant. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list doesn't need introduction, and we're not even going to talk much about it, but Acqu Di Ventus. Acqu Di Ventus. As long as I have this fragrance in my collection, which will probably be forever, it's going to be one of my favorite scents. This is a 17 N01 batch, and to me, it is the perfect combination of the pineapple and the smoky birchwood. Amazing fragrance. Again, I know it's been a victim of its own success, but it doesn't matter to me. I love it. So this is definitely one of my top 15 fragrances of all time from the house of Creed. That's a Ventus. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, sincerely, I think this is the best smelling fragrance I have in my collection. This will probably be number one for me personally. This will be number one from the house of by Kilian. This is called Angel Share. This is called Angel Share, and this is one of the fragrances I added, I think that was earlier this year, to the collection. And I mean, listen, this smells like gingerbread. That's what it smells like to me. Gingerbread with a little bit of cognac. Man, this stuff is just absolutely divine. Maybe even gingerbread, or maybe even like apple pie. This stuff is gorgeous, man. Just praline is in this. Praline, I'm sorry, is in this fragrance. And I've talked recently about praline. You find praline in Greenwich Village from Bond Number 9. There's another fragrance that I talked about here recently that featured the note of praline. But again, praline is a synthetic sweet note. It smells like cake or cookies. So you imagine that, well, with sandalwood, with cognac, with tonka bean, with cinnamon. This stuff is just absolutely delicious, man. So definitely one of my favorite fragrances. I love this stuff. I even like this a little bit better than Black Phantom. That's how much I like this. So definitely one that you need to check out from the house of by Kilian. This is called Angel Share. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, we're going back to the house of Bond Number 9. And this has been getting a lot of play lately for me, and this is called Lafayette Street. This is called Lafayette Street. If you don't know much about this fragrance, just go check. I can't remember what video it was, but I will link it. My wife's reaction to this fragrance. Apple, vanilla, and ambroxan. Playful, sweet, and sexy. Best way to describe this fragrance, but check this one out, man. Do yourself a favor and put this on your skin and see what I'm talking about. From the house of Bond Number 9, this is Lafayette Street. Now, these last three fragrances on the list are very, very popular fragrances, ones that I talk about a lot, so these will come as no surprise, but they are very deservingly so, heavily talked about on my channel from the house of Allure. This next one is called Reflection Man. This is called Reflection Man, and that's something different about this list from, you know, those top 10 fragrances for life type videos. I tend to only try to put one fragrance per house on those type lists, but this particular list was very personal. I didn't care how many fragrances I chose from a particular house. These are just sincerely my favorites. I love Reflection Man. It is very clean and sophisticated. My favorite fragrance, when you talk about the note of jasmine and how it's using this fragrance with that creamy sandalwood in Reflection Man. I love this stuff, man. It's very, very, very sophisticated, and again, clean and fresh at the same time. And I love, you know, fragrances that give me clean and sophisticated. So check it out, man. Again, from the house of Amouage, oldie but goodie, and this one is called Reflection Man. The next fragrance on the list, guys, this one comes from the house of Frederic Malle. You know what it is, say it with me. Portrait of a Man. This is called Portrait of a Lady, but again, Portrait of a Man, I am renaming it. And rose and patchouli. Rose and patchouli, the primary two notes in this to my nose. And again, this still holds the record for getting me the most compliments on a fragrance in one day. I love this stuff. Very, 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 very well done from the house of Frederic Malle. I think Dominique Ropillon. Well, yep, Dominique Ropillon was the perfumer on this one, and hey, he created a masterpiece that I love. Again, my favorite note is in this, the note of rose. So check this one out. Definitely get a decant of this and try it out. It won't be for everybody, but I will tell you, I have very strong feeling if you wear it and go out, you'll see great results when you wear it. So check it out, man, if you like to, from the house of Frederic Malle. This is called Portrait of a Man, or Portrait of a Lady. You know what I mean. All right, guys, and last but not least on this list, another one that has stood the test of time from the house of MFK. This is called Baccarat Rouge 540. And this one right here is the Extrait. Honestly, I pulled the Extrait out. This and the EDP is about the same thing with the exception of the almond to me. I just like the way this bottle looks more because I love the color of red, of course. But man, this fragrance, just like Creed Aventus, you start to see a lot of companies trying to bring out their own interpretation of this fragrance. It's usually an indicator that the fragrance has done a great job in the market, and this one certainly has. Men and women alike love this fragrance. It's one of the most popular fragrances, I would say, nowadays, right up there with Creed Aventus, honestly. I think it may be even a little bit more popular because women tend to really like this scent as well. So man, guys, if you never tried Baccarat Rouge 540, I would highly suggest putting this on your skin to see if you like it as well. But it is a classic for a good reason. One of my favorites, hands down. Another one is in my top 5 of all time. So check it out from the house of MFK. This is called Baccarat Rouge 540. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this video, as I just kind of took you through 15 of my current favorite fragrances in my collection. 15 fragrances I felt like I could not live without. As always, I appreciate your time and attention to these videos because, of course, you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're right here with me, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe, and share these videos out to folks that you think could use this information or find me entertaining, because I'm your guy, Darian, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.